welcome to our final week of our mental health moments, if you can believe it. I think we've covered a lot of ground over the past number of weeks, and I recognize that we certainly could not possibly cover everything that there is to talk about, but I hope that these little moments have been helpful to you in just finding ways to boost your well-being, to know some of the things that you can do to help. And today I actually want to shift perspectives a little bit and come at this whole topic of mental health from the perspective of being a loved one, kind of watching somebody that you care about go through mental health difficulties. And there's definitely a lot to say about this, so I'll see how much I can fit in, but I know that many of us feel ill-equipped. It can feel very hopeless, very helpless to watch someone that you care about suffer so deeply, and especially when you feel like you can't fix it. It's so hard. Statistically speaking, they say that 1 in 5 Canadians, that's 20% of us, will experience a mental illness in our lifetime, and the reality of that stat is that it probably means 100% of us will experience a season or many seasons in life where somebody that we care deeply about is suffering because of mental illness. So it's important for us to understand what we can do to help. Often I hear that helplessness that people feel. I've heard people say, like, I'm not a counselor, I don't know how to help, I can't fix this. And what's interesting about that is sometimes I think about when somebody gets a cancer diagnosis, generally speaking, the people surrounding them, their support network, their loved ones, don't usually say, well, I'm not an oncologist, so I can't really help, I don't know what to do. We intuitively know many of the things that will help, right? We offer a listening ear. We go and we sit with people in their sadness. And I love, if you've ever read through the book of Job, you might remember that there's this beautiful verse that describes Job's friends when they first arrive, and where he has lost everything, he's grieving, he's sick, everything seems to have been taken away from him, and he's devastated, and his friends come and it describes that they just sat with him in the dirt, and for quite a long time did not say anything, for days did not say anything, just sat with him in the dirt because they saw how great his suffering was. And if you continue on reading through the book, eventually the friends start talking and they start trying to fix it, and that is where things really go south. These friends at that point stop being helpful. And so often this desire that we have within us to fix it, to make it better, to get rid of the suffering and get rid of the pain, it really works against us, because suffering is a part of this life that we are living. We are in this broken, imperfect world, and suffering is a reality. What does not have to be a reality is going through that suffering alone. And so we need to learn how to show up and sit in the dirt with people. And scripture talks about this idea of bearing with one another, and it's a very powerful thing that we can do for people, is just to share, to sit down and share that burden for a little while. And so, Ephesians 4 verse 2 says to be completely humble and gentle, be patient, bearing with one another in love. Colossians 3:13 says bear with each other and forgive one another. And Galatians 6 verse 2 says carry each other's burdens and in this way you will fulfill the law of Christ. And so, Scripture is clear. We are called to bear with one another, to come alongside, so that nobody would be alone, isolated, and struggling without anybody to come alongside of them and to share the load. So we have to let go of this ideal that we need to be able to fix things, and we need to remember that it is God's job. He is the one who does the healing work in our lives, and so we do not have to carry the weight of that responsibility. And so, I guess when I circle back to that idea of feeling like, counselors know how to help and I don't, and how sometimes that kind of shuts us down from stepping in and supporting people the way they need to be supported. I know it's important to say, counselors have a very important role to play when it comes to treating and recovering from mental illness, but 1 hour a week with a professional counselor cannot possibly meet all of the needs that a person has in order to be well and to thrive and to get through a difficult time, right? So we know that people need acceptance and love and support and practical help and belonging and connection. And so when somebody that you love is struggling because of their mental health, it's so important to just be present, to check in, to drop off a meal, to express to them your support and your care, regardless of what they're going through. I came across, and this is a little bit silly, so I hope you'll forgive me, but I came across this quote, and it was somebody talking about the cartoon, if you've seen it, Winnie the Pooh, and there's this character Eeyore, and some people have sort of hypothesized that perhaps Eeyore has clinical depression. He's got that little rain cloud over him, and those kind of negative thinking patterns, and he's always very down. But anyway, what this quote says is, one awesome thing about Eeyore is that even though he is basically clinically depressed, he still gets invited to participate in adventures and shenanigans with all of his friends. And they never expect him to pretend to be happy. They just love him anyway. And I just love that observation, and what that models for us in terms of just being sure that we don't close off relationships with people who are suffering because of mental health, because although they may not always choose to accept our invitations or let us in, to faithfully and consistently reach out and invite them in and keep them a part of things even when it's hard, can be very, very powerful. Counselors are paid to care, and often most of the time that care is genuine, but you can't know what it means for somebody to have you step in and offer your love and your support through their darkest moments, and to just stay with them. So I hope that encourages you today, just to know that what you have to offer is enough. Often there's that feeling of, I can't fix it. We almost step into that overwhelmedness with people, but we need to remember that we don't need to fix it, we don't need to have all of the answers, but that as we step in and we bear with one another, the load is lightened. And sometimes just that little bit of love and care is the ground that someone needs under their feet to keep going, to be encouraged, to move in the right direction. And so I hope that we can be a community at North Park that does that well for one another. Well, thank you so very much for joining me for these past 8 sessions on mental health. As we close this off, I wanted to send you out with this benediction. It's just I thought a beautiful prayer. It's a Franciscan benediction for us as we face the reality of challenges and difficulties in our lives. So, may God bless us with discomfort at easy answers, half-truths, and superficial relationships, so that we may live deep within our hearts. May God bless us with anger at injustice, oppression, and exploitation of people, so that we may work for justice, freedom, and peace. May God bless us with tears to shed for those who suffer from pain, rejection, starvation, and war, and I'll add mental illness, so that we may reach out our hands to comfort them and turn their pain into joy. And may God bless us with enough foolishness to believe that we can make a difference in this world, so that we can do what others claim cannot be done. God bless you.